This teacher embarrassed me in school, but my Nigerian grandmother made her regret it. Huh. I am back with another spooky story. I'm gonna call the person who submitted this story Sandra. And she said, her family is from Benin City, Nigeria. So Sandra grew up in Brooklyn, but her family is from Benin State. And she says that her grandmother still lives there. And people in her village absolutely fears her grandmother. And she is a pretty known priestess back home. So when Sandra was about 14 years old, she had this teacher. I'm gonna call the teacher Miss Elizabeth. She says Miss Alvarez was mean. She just loved humiliating her students. One day, Sandra got an answer wrong on the board, and she laughed at her and said to Sandra, "This is why your people never make it. You can't even learn basic math." Along other things that Miss Elizabeth would do to make Sandra feel uncomfortable, like picking on her hair, traditional food that she would bring into school. The teacher would make fun of it. Sometimes it almost seemed like the teacher was rallying the students against Sandra. She said the last time that this teacher embarrassed her in front of her class, she was so embarrassed she felt like her face was burning. That night, she went home and told her mother what happened. And while she was explaining everything to her mom, her grandmother was on the phone, and her grandmother said to Sandra, "Give me her name." Sandra said that she was scared. She didn't want to give the teacher's name because she knew what her grandmother be up to. However, her grandmother felt very disrespected by the comment that the teacher made. Basically asked Sandra for the teacher's name. Now, out of the pressure of the moment, Sandra gave the name to the grandmother. Now, Sandra kept going to school, and maybe a week later, she said at school, things started happening. Miss Elizabeth just started having these weird accidents. She just seems very clumsy. As she's writing on the board, chalk would just break in her hand. Papers would fly off her desk, even if there's no wind in the classroom. And within a matter of days, Elizabeth just wasn't looking good. It looked like she lost weight. Her eyes looked like they were sinking into her skull, and she just looked sickly. Then came a smell. Sandra described as burnt coffee and burning flowers. Every time she walked in the classroom, the entire classroom filled up with that stench. Then, one afternoon, she screamed mid-lesson. She swore something bit her hand, but when she opened her palm, there were 3 long scratches, freshly bleeding, and it looked like claws had literally torn through her skin. And unfortunately for Miss Elizabeth, that was only the beginning. I know you guys hate part 2s, but you guys are gonna have to leave a comment for part 2, because what happened next spooked me to my core. Leave a comment and subscribe.